2012. The year is something that happened 12 years ago. Yes, you're old. But you see, 2012 was a very special year with many major events and happenings all around the world. But if I were to ask you what the biggest event of 2012 was, what would be your answer? Obama's re-election? The search for Kony? The London Summer Olympics? The Red Bull skydive? Or perhaps the Mayan calendar that predicted the end of the world? Well, whatever your answer is, it doesn't really matter, cause you're fucking wrong. It's the month of January, and a cloud of animosity is starting to brew in the depths of the internet. What animosity am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the animosity between 4chan and Reddit, or more specifically, the one between its users. The communities of Reddit and 4chan have always had a sense of hatred towards the other side ever since the founding of both websites in the early 2000s, which is only natural considering that the users of both websites have always been total polar opposites of each other. Because you see, while 4chaners were always basement-dwelling edgelord incels who were posting jailbait on the internet, Redditors instead were basement-dwelling edgelord incels who were posting jailbait on the internet, which of course paved the way for conflict to arise. But in 2012, the Redditors of r/gaming finally wanted to put this to an end. And so, they came up with an offer. 8 vs 8. Best of 5. Capture the flag. Tribes Ascent. Now, for those who don't know what Tribes Ascent is, let me explain. Tribes Ascent used to be a free-to-play multiplayer FPS that released on PC in 2012. It had really fast movement with jetpacks and vehicles and was overall a really good game, which, despite that, got canned by its studio a year after its release. But anyways, this was where the battle would take place. And that would happen on the 4th of February 2012, giving both 4chan and Reddit a couple of weeks of time each to choose their respective teams and hone their skills. And this time was definitely well spent. Reddit went to the Tribe subreddit and organized a tournament to determine the best players among them. The final selection was a group of seasoned players who already had experience playing with each other and were all people who had been playing the game since the day the closed beta dropped on the 4th of November. You couldn't possibly get a better team than this. However, 4chan's preparations were also very impressive in their own way, because during the weeks leading up to the match, the Virgins on V did something really bizarre. And they did absolutely nothing. However, the reason they didn't do anything isn't because they were overly confident in their own abilities or anything.
You can't touch me! You can't touch me!
But because they, completely forgot about the match in the first place.
Bruh.
They only learned about the match 30 minutes before it was going to take place, which meant that they not only didn't have any practice whatsoever, but that they didn't even have a team to play with. And so, in a mode of panic, 4chan scrambled together a ragtag team of randoms who hadn't even played with each other, including a furry and a Chilean sniper with 140 ping. Truly remarkable stuff right there, which really made itself evident in the practice match.
Welcome everybody, we are here live with Tribescast. I'm Hi-Rez, broadcasting out of Atlanta, Georgia. I work for Hi-Rez Studios, I'm the competitive and esports manager, and I'm happy to be bringing you today 4chan versus Reddit here in Tribes Ascend. We're going to be getting started here any second now in Katabatic.
The first match starts, and it pretty much goes as you would expect. 4chan is no match for Reddit's experienced and well-coordinated team and are getting dominated. Their defense is decent enough, but they're completely lacking when it comes to coordinating their offense. Reddit wins the round 5-1. In the second match, 4chan puts more emphasis on the offense and allocates more people to catching Reddit's flag. The offense improves, however, because they're now lacking personnel at their base, it becomes very easy for Reddit to grab the flags and the round again ends in 5-1. The score is now 2-0 in Reddit's favor. If they win one more match, they will be crowned the victors of the contest. If 4chan wants to have any hopes of coming back from this, then they have to do something drastic right now. Otherwise, the arch nemesis will prove their superiority once and for all. The third match starts, and it develops pretty much the same as the first two. Reddit's experienced team is overwhelming 4chan once again, and the score is 4-2 with 4 minutes remaining. However, 4chan is not ready to give up yet. They're very aware that they're going to lose if they keep the current playstyle and decide to go for a last-minute Hail Mary attempt to change the flow of the match. And so they decide to go all in with using deployables. Now, if you aren't aware of what deployables are, let me explain. In Tribes, deployables are things such as mines, claymores, turrets, force fields, and so on. These deployables can be placed on the map for purposes such as defending your flag or killing your enemies. The tactic now was to place as many deployables as they could in strategic locations to disrupt Reddit's playstyle. And well, it actually worked! With 20 seconds remaining of the match, the ragtag team of V managed to equalize the score and shortly after managed to get the game-winning capture in overtime. 4chan had finally won their first match and the score was now 2-1. The fourth match begins, and the dynamic between both teams that existed so far gets completely turned on its head. Reddit is getting overwhelmed by 4chan's deployable game and are struggling to adapt. The experienced and well-coordinated team was now looking like a mess, leading to them losing the match with 11 minutes remaining. 4chan had managed to complete a comeback and the score was now tied. Whoever would win the fifth and final match would be the winner of the contest. Now this was getting exciting. It's the final match, and immediately there are some drastic changes. Reddit's team, who had been struggling to adapt to 4chan's deployable tactic, decided to make a bizarre strategy change. They decided to play without a sniper to increase the manpower in other areas in the hopes of overcoming 4chan's new playstyle. And well, it was somewhat successful. The final game was a lot more evenly matched, but would it be enough? Would they manage to get back to the winning ways? Or would 4chan manage to complete their upset?
Oh, so close. The flag down in the field. Where do we get the return here now, though? Video P, no. Video P misses. Sculpey Ball's also not going to be able to get a Great Stall, and Blink's able to pick it up in that scramble. Goes down.
Down again.
There. No, misses it. Great Stall, and there's a return. Are we going to see the battle cap from the Blinks? Yes,
there it is! 4chan! Oh my god! 4chan with a wonderful come from behind.
Oh my gosh, what a game, dude. It was... I'm like sitting here trying to digest it.
And with that, the upset was complete. After getting completely thrashed, the unprepared and randomly put together team of 4chan had changed their strategy and managed to come back from behind to defeat their arch nemesis. Truly a remarkable feat, but what was even more remarkable was the fact that there was no animosity when everything concluded. Considering that both sides hated each other, you'd think that this contest was going to get ugly one way or another. But surprisingly, no. The entire thing was resolved rather amicably and both sides showed great sportsmanship during the entire process. Especially the 4chaners, who were quite reserved and didn't even flaunt their win in front of Reddit's face.
Get fucked. Well, I guess you need to find and fact out my head is fucking such now get fucked. Oh man lol son, you are but angry, deal with it you anal restrained bitch hippopotamus, or go cry into your daddy's tit as he tells you bedtime stories of hate.